Okay, so this would normally be after 1 or 2 days of feeding your starter. I like to feed it one day once or twice, the next day feed it twice, and then on the third day feed it once in the morning, and then when it's doubled at least, and when you tap the sides and you start to see a bubble or two that pops, or you can take a little bit, it's called the float test, and you put it in water and it's floating, then it's absolutely ready to go, and it should be nice and active because you've been feeding it 3 or 4 or 5 times in the last 2.5 days. So I had to take a hiatus a little bit and ended up putting mine in the fridge for a little while, but I have fed this and it is ready to make bread. So I have an empty container. I'm going to zero it, and I'm going to follow Peter Reinhart's recipe in his Bread Baker's Apprentice book, where he makes first a firm starter on day 1, and then on day 2 he makes his final dough, and then he bakes it on the 3rd day. You certainly don't have to follow that, but that's what I do. Okay, so today I'm going to make a firm starter with this starter that I fed this morning, and it's nice and light and airy. And if I follow Reinhardt's method, he makes enough for about 2 loaves. You can follow what's called baker's percentages, which I won't get into right now. But I'm just basically doubling the recipe that's in Reinhardt's book. So for firm starter, I'm going to use 220 grams of my starter. And you can see it's nice consistency, nice airy, lots of bubbles in it. So I'm going to get 226 of that. Remember, if you have anything extra, you can just feed what you have left over, or you can feed some of what you have left over and the rest you can use as discard or unfed starter. So I want 226, that's exactly what I have there. Okay, and then again, according to Reinhardt's method, I'm going to add bread flour, and I want 256 grams of bread flour. Okay, so I zero it again, 256 grams of bread flour. And even if you want to make whole wheat bread or rye bread or whatever, I still use only the white bread flour for this stage. When you make the final dough is when I add different kinds of flour. Just makes it easier. 256. Here we go. Okay. And 76 grams of water. Again, if you're a little nervous, put it in a different container first, because you can't take back water once it's in there. Okay, 76 grams of water. There's a great thing called the Danish dough hook that you can use. I have one, but I don't have it with me right now. So you can just use your spatula, you could use your hands. You just want to mix it until, again, you've hydrated the flour, you've mixed your starter, and it's uniform. Okay. Then put that into a clean glass, a clean bowl, sorry, not metal, with a little bit of olive oil in it. Want to make sure it's mixed. You can knead it a little bit, but it doesn't have to be really well kneaded. At that point, at this point, I would dump it out on your counter or something that's not going to stick. Get all your bits. If you don't got all your bits, then you're not following your baker's percentages correctly, and you won't have consistency in your recipe. So you want to make sure to get all the bits off your spatula or your Danish dough hook or your fingers. Okay. Hopefully you have a little more counter space than I do at the moment. Okay, so when you have your firm starter all mixed together, shouldn't take you very long. It should just look like it's hydrated, should be uniform. It might be a little bit imperfect like this, and that's absolutely fine because this is just starter. So this is going to work as that traditional dried yeast that you buy in the store. This replaces that. This is why it's called sourdough, because you've created your own yeast. So just put it into a little bowl, something like that. Put it into a clean container, or go wipe out the container that you just used. A tiny bit of olive oil on the bottom so it doesn't stick. Just rub that around a little bit. Okay. Take your firm starter that you just did. This bowl's maybe a little too small for this amount, but it's going to about double. So roll around your olive oil, place it right side up. Okay. Cover that. This bowl's going to be a little bit too small. When it's about double, put it in the fridge overnight, and then the next morning or the next afternoon or whenever it's convenient for you, you're going to start your day 2, which is making your final dough for the bread.